Hey everybody, welcome back. The blog read for the Together to the Top Steel Cage Showdown event is out, and I will link it in the description of this video. The Professor and Bob did a great job. And there are some very tricky requirements to score points in this particular event. So I wanted to try to isolate some cards that are going to help in this event and try to get everybody kind of prepared for what's going on. For those that haven't watched it yet, the steel cage rules are no plates and no entourage, but you do get to keep the perks, and the showdown perks for this month are +6 black MP and +6 purple MP. And then for this particular event, the steel cage rules have some buffs as well, +50% gem damage, +100% move damage, +50% multiplied gem damage, +100% green gem damage, and then +100% column gem damage. I don't have an opportunity yet to test out what type of buff this is, but I'm going to go with the assumption that it's going to act like a moment instead of like a move buff or a boss battle buff. Okay, I could be wrong because there's no way of testing, but based on no entourage, no plates, and the steel cage rules buffs, I've isolated several cards that I think are going to help, and I want to show off at least 4 of them. Okay, and the 4 that I want to show off are Nikita Lyons, Zombie Bailey, Tech Charlotte, and Acro Rhea. Nikita covers a couple of different categories. One of the tasks is do damage with NXT superstars, and then one of the faction tasks is break black gems. Nikita does both. There are only 3 NXT ladies in the game. There's Cora Jade, who does have a moveset that might work. Her purple blue moveset would probably work without an entourage. It's not going to be the best, I don't think. And then Roxanne. And I, quite frankly, don't really see a way to make Roxanne work during this event with no entourage. Okay, so I think Nikita is like the default easiest way to do it. And the way to do it is just with her triple black, right? 7, 8, 8 MP. So you start, if you have your showdown perks maxed out, you start with 6 black MP and then 1 for being yourself. You're going to start with a sub, and then the very next turn you'll have both the Samoan drop and the swinging side slam ready to go. This is the very traditional Nikita Lyons way of playing the game. Okay, over here in the entourage, I just have Woods here for 4 black MP. I do have max Tor perks, so it's +3. So I'm actually getting +7 instead of the +6. It's the best I can do to mimic what it's going to be like in Showdown this weekend. As far as strap is concerned, this is the best I can come up with. There is a plate, and I'm not going to take the plate off for the purposes of this video. It's the Badass Jacket. Generate 3 or more submission gems. Increase your black gem damage by 100% for 2 turns. You're going to get a 50% gem damage buff anyway, so every piece of damage with Nikita I'm going to show you is going to be a little bit less in the showdown. I can't mimic it, and I can't. I'm out of little doodads here, and I can't justify. I'm 5 days away. I can't justify yanking this off for the purposes of a preview that may be subject to change. You know what I'm saying? So Becky Lynch here is going to be my punching bag because she's the largest talent opponent that isn't Jade Cargill that I can find that has open availability in tours. And then the move flow is very traditional. You hit the sub. And then just, watch the animation. Then you hit the buff move. Or not the buff move, but the damage per gym modifier move. And then you make everything black. So one of the faction tasks is breaking black gems. And then you have to do 500 damage from any NXT superstar a pretty ridiculous amount of times, if I remember correctly, from the blog read. The beauty of this, it's not going to be the fastest, but it's Showdown, so who cares, right? You're not interfering with any of your faction mates. You're just kind of cranking right along, doing your thing. Because it is a 4-turn sub, even if they do because part of the buffs is essentially having Trick Hogan on every single card. But you just get to cruise right along. It's a 4-turn sub. It will slow your opponents down, and you will eventually get there. This is a very safe and a very defensive move set that will work at the very least, helping your faction out and getting your NXT damage out of the way without having to use, a very kind of wild Cora Jade build, or, Roxanne, who's just, quite frankly, I don't think it's going to work at all. Not without an entourage. I looked at it briefly, admittedly, but I looked at it and I didn't see a path through it. The other thing is Nikita's making leech gems, so at least you're healing yourself while you go, giving yourself some extra defense that way. So I imagine this is exactly how one of the matches is going to go with Nikita. It's just going to take some time until you finally win. So that's how that one worked. Another one of the tasks this weekend is SmackDown. You got to do damage, 500 damage from a SmackDown poster. And those are also pretty limited. A lot of them are older cards. So Showboat Charlotte's in there with her 1 MP moves. That may help a little bit for those who have Showboat Charlotte built up. But Tech Charlotte will also work as well. With a really interesting and kind of clever build. I would never run this in Feud, but it's one of those movesets that just kind of, I don't know. I like it personally. Entourage again is, I'm using Woods. And then I have NWO Hogan on here to mimic the SmackDown perk, which is whenever you make a 3-match, you're going to get 2 extra MP from it. Strap here is just gym damage. Kind of is what it is. Moveset is going to be double black green. And the jug gems are going to do some heavy lifting here. Choose 2 gems to make into 2-turn jugs that will steal over 5 million health on every countdown. If you have both jugs out, you're going to steal 10 million health, which is nice. Gives you some revivability, right? It gives you some self-heal. And then it's going to, each one of them will blow up and make 25 randos into black, refilling both of these moves. German Suplex, which will also be loaded turn 1. choose 10 gems to make into green gems. So it's going to be essentially a 5 and 3 kind of deal. But I'm probably going to play it like a 5 and 5 and see if I can't get these jugs to bust turn 1. It's showdown. You can play a little risky. Nobody's time is being wasted but your own. All right. Knife Edge Chop is just here because I am making green. If things go wild, I mean, I've got this already loaded and ready to rock. Okay. So move flow here. Both black moves will be loaded this weekend with max sparks. So you just drop jugs. I mean, drop them in a safe place. Safe places always seem to be loot boxes. And then, how are we going to do this? I'm going to try there. And I'm going to do it there. I don't really want to make any matches here because I really do want the swipes. And I want to move this box over because if I move the green over, this box would turn into a wild. It would break the purples and chaos would ensue. Right? Yeah. So we do it that way. Nope. Did the exact opposite way. Notice the health steal hit. So we've already done, a little over 10 million damage there. And there's no way of recycling another turn. We're just going to get hit by all the red stuff. So let's just do it. This weekend, this probably isn't going to be a large problem, except for purple and black moves that your opponents may have on defense. Defense is open until the light ranking. In that case, everything turns over to striker. Then there are kind of some dangerous strikers you're going to run into. Maybe some Stephanie McMahon's, maybe some Queen Nia Jax's. I think one of the most dangerous ones actually is going to be new gen striker Liv. She has plus 99. I think that may be a very serious problem if you run into those. I'm actually not going to do. I'm going to put that here. Same concept though. I'm probably going to get really close to KO with one swipe. I'm going to try if I break there. Same dumb stuff that I did this time. But the damage is so low that I'm really just going to flood the board with green. Try to break as much stuff as possible. Should pin and win. A little clumsy. I could have played it better. But that's a move set for Tech Charlotte. Now, Tech Charlotte takes care of the SmackDown requirement. I've already said that. But she also makes a lot of black once the jugs go off. So, when you're not facing somebody who has MP loaded or a very weak defensive card or something like that, she's going to be able to provide some value as far as the faction tasks and doing SmackDown tasks. Okay. The third card that I'm probably going to use a lot this weekend is going to be really weird because she will not reload whatsoever. And that's Acro Rhea. Fix her entourage real quick. She will start loaded. Turn 1. Okay. With all of her good stuff. But she makes blue. Now, there is a Legends damage component to this weekend's contest. There's a blue gem just break a raw amount of blue gems. There's a break a raw amount of multi gems, and then there's an acro damage component to this weekend. So Ray Ripley takes care of all four of those things. However, there's no way of actually like recycling the move. You get one big shot and that's it. You'll notice I've got the Z plate on it. I'm just not going to take it off. There are, again, the steel cage rules buffs will actually exceed what's happening with this plate. So it will hit a little bit harder this weekend than the way I've got her set up, I think. I'm going to go through the gameplay once and then quit out. Everybody should know how to run heavy metal Rio at this point in time, right? You throw the countdowns. You always throw the countdowns first. If you're throwing down the multis first, you're missing out. Throw the countdowns first, and then you throw the multis. And the rule of thumb, generally, is any column that has 4 or less, you can cover up. Right? Just like this. Because there are enough countdown gems left over to completely cover the board. So if it's 4 or less, you're safe. You don't want to cover 5s and 6s and stuff like that. 4 or less. This is the most efficient card I've found so far when it comes to doing a bunch of the solo tasks, right? And takes care of very many things at the same time. And at the tail end of it, another, like, once you get your solo tasks done and your faction tasks done, or maybe not the faction tasks, but the solo tasks, you're going to get extra points from winning with a striker. You're going to get extra points with winning with Dom, Dirty Dom, and you're going to get extra points with winning with last month's new gen Seth, Radical Seth. Okay. And I think actually the best striker, the best lady striker you can go with in this situation is good old Zombie Bailey. The steel cage rules do buff move damage by 100%. Okay. You can crank her up with just takedown medals, and I only have a 50% gem damage or 50% move damage strap up. You have to change your moves around a little bit, in my opinion, to kind of make this work. By the way, she also breaks black gems this way, which is another faction task. The Ghost in the Graveyard, choose a 6x1 area starts loaded, and the one knee in the grave starts loaded. All right, one knee in the grave boosts your black gem damage, which is already buffed from the steel cage rules. And then Ghost in the Graveyard will also get your big old finisher loaded. So this mimics the perks. Again, takedown 2s, 50% move damage strap. Newsflash, she still hits super big. So the way I like to do this, you know, this move, right, the one knee in the grave alone does 3.8 million. You can hit it safely. Then we're going to do another 4.3 million and load the finish. You're also going to load knee in the grave. So we're up to 7 million damage there. Going to do another 3.8 there. So that's 10, 11 million, let's call it. And then you're going to hit finisher for 14.5. So that's 25 million plus all of the black gem damage. and I did not come up with a way to mimic the other 100% move damage that's coming from the steel cage rules. This is going to be very easy wins. Maybe not quite as quick as normal with Zombie Bailey, but they're going to be very quick. And that's going to be kind of the tail end of the contest stuff where you're just grabbing extra points for winning with a striker and extra points with winning with either Dirty Dom or Radical Seth, whichever one you guys have. You can throw that into the second slot. Okay. There are other cards that may provide a lot of value this weekend. Those are just some that I kind of came up with. Damage control may also be a problem for people, and frankly, when it comes to damage control, it's EO, it's Showboat Bailey, it's Kairi Sane, and it's Dakota. And I think Dakota might be the best option here. I know Dakota doesn't really do very much damage without, a lot of toys, but you can run her triple black. All right, it's 7/7/4. You'll be loaded turn 1. You don't have an entourage. You do have a move buff, even though it's small. You're getting 50% gem damage from the steel cage rules. I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, right? But I think she's going to be more consistent than the other damage control ladies. Kairi Sane, you're going to have to rely on matches just to get her loaded. So you're going to have to rely on looking at your defense and making sure you're not going up against somebody that's turn 1. I think Dakota Kai is going to be the most consistent way to get your damage control tasks done. Indy is another task. She's a task in and of herself. Indy, I really think you're just going to have to struggle through. Where's my Indy? Poor 6-star bronze Indy. Did I pass her up? Is she just not on my screen for some reason? Really? Wait. Am I going crazy? I probably passed her twice. For some reason, Indy is not on the screen. She's 6-star bronze. Huh. All right, wild. Where's my 6-star bronze Indy? Oh, good grief. She's going to have a problem because none of the MP works on her. You're legitimately just going to have to either get a blue match or a red match. No, a blue match is going to be your best shot, or a red match in a couple of turns in order to get the Indy damage out. That's going to be tough. You're just going to have to pick your battles in order to make that one work. She's going to do great damage because of the 50% gem damage buff and the 50% multi-gem damage buff. But it's going to be hard. New Gen Liv, if you've already brought last month's Liv up to 6-star, you're probably going to be just fine. She's got plus 99. She's going to be able to do some work for you. The other one that I think might be sneaky decent is Naomi with there's some black stuff she's got going on here, right? Black move stuff, running hip attack, 2 columns, making power gems of 600k a piece. 600k times 14 is a lot, but it will not reload. I mean, kind of, actually. So you do this and then swipe. Next turn you get to do this and hit all those again. That will load that. So you reload these two. Like, yeah, I mean, it'll be a little bit cumbersome, but you're not getting much other than SmackDown and Striker stuff done. But I mean, it's there. You can use it. It'll do it. Yeah, that's it. Those are 4 cards that I think will work well this weekend, and a couple of extra just to kind of touch some of the other bases. As always, if you learned something tonight, if you've been entertained by anything, or if you just like the sound of my voice, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.